All right, so this knife thoughts video is going to be on this knife. And as you can see, this is the Cold Steel Kudu Lite. And it has the specs here, 4¼ inch blade. So, definitely a long blade there. 5CR15 MOV steel, not a super high end steel for sure. In fact, probably a low end steel. But we'll get to that in a second. 2.7 ounces, so pretty light, 2mm blade thickness. And then it has a 5¾ Zyx handle. So let's take a look at it. So this is a relatively new knife from Cold Steel, but it's based off of an older model that they've had for a while. And it's one that I was looking forward to. I was kind of surprised and happy to see that they were making. And basically this Kudu Lite is a slip joint version of the Kudu. So I'll show you the Kudu here. The Kudu is a ring lock folder, and this is a user. I keep this in my garage, so sorry that's kind of dirty, but it's a traditional South African design, or African. I'm pretty sure it's South African, but it uses this ring lock where as you open it, it kind of, there's little bumps there, so it's like a whole bunch of half stops, and then it actually locks there. You can see that there's a lock where this spring that's pinned into the handle here sits down in. And it's actually really similar to the lock on the Buck Marksman, but instead of being able to use kind of one hand to open it or unlock it, you have to use this ring here that's attached to the spring and pull on that and then push the blade past the lock so that you can then close it. And really, for me, I like the Kudu. I think it's a good, inexpensive user. But the big downside to the Kudu is this lock. For the main reason being that it's a little bit dangerous to unlock. I've tried to figure out ways to do it one-handed so that your other hand wasn't in the way, but you really just have to have this hand right in the way, and there's a lot of tension, so that I think it would be easy to, slip and push this blade so that it swings closed. And in fact, when I've given this to people who weren't familiar with this knife, they really, have several times not been able to figure out how to close it, because it is counterintuitive. You have to push, pull the knife away as you pull on this ring, and then push on the blade. And yeah, you can definitely get used to it. I'm used to it. I don't feel like it's super dangerous for me, but I think that it's not the most intuitive or safe locking mechanism. But I really like this knife because, like I said, it's inexpensive. It has, some actually good texture on the handle, some kind of cool, iconery, or however you say that, iconism, whatever, that kind of matches with the name here with this piece of metal on the show side of the scale. And then it also is just a really, long, thin blade that works well for, actual cutting tasks. I use this in the garden a lot and things like that. So being that I like the Kudu, but it has some downsides with the lock, I was happy to see that they were making this Kudu Lite. And if you watch this channel, you probably know that I really like slip joints. I use slip joints a lot and don't have a problem using them. I think that locking knives are great. I carry them pretty much all the time also, but I like slip joints for user knives. And I was happy to see that they were making this as a slip joint. It has pretty much the same features. It's the same length. It has the same design. It has, that same piece on the handle, even the same spring. They just basically took the locking part out so that there's no cutout there and no catches on the blade. It does have a half stop, but just that one half stop. Now, the steel on this, I believe, was not 5CR14 or 15 MOV. It was the 5034, I think, crop steel that Cold Steel was using for a while, but they've changed their steels a few times, so I'm not sure if that was the case for all of the Kudus, but this one is the 5CR15. But other than that and the lock, it is pretty much the same knife, and I really like it. It's Super lightweight. It is really long. I mean, this is a long knife here, especially for a slip joint. I'll show you it compared to a case trapper. This is a full-size case trapper, which a lot of people consider to be a bigger knife. And you can see that the Kudu Lite dwarfs the case trapper. And that is, you know, this is a 4 1/4 inch blade. That's a long blade. The handle is also very long, you know, 5 3/4, I think is what the specs say. Yeah, so you can definitely get a full grip on this knife. You can hold it up high, you know, choke up and do finer work. You can hold it down lower if you need to, you know, reach out further or farther, or, you know, anything like that. And it is a comfortable handle. It's super simple. And again, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you probably know that I appreciate a simple handle, because a simple handle is usually an ergonomic handle. And then the blade is just a really classic clip point. So as you can see, it's just a traditional clip point, a good bit of straight edge, some belly, and a good tip there. And then you can open it with a nail nick for sure. But to be honest, I have pretty much always just pinched it open, because there is enough blade there to grab onto it and pinch it open. And it has a strong spring. I would call it definitely more like a 6 or possibly 7, probably not 6.5, maybe 6 or 6.5. But it's definitely strong, and that's a good thing, because with such a long blade, if you caught this tip on, you know, something while you're cutting it, cardboard or something, you wouldn't want it to have a light spring so that it would close. So I like the spring strength. It is, you know, a little heavier than maybe your typical medium-sized Swiss Army knife, but that also makes it have really nice action. You see that some people appreciate that kind of bounce at half stop, and it definitely has that. And then it snaps closed also. Another nice thing here is, because there's no metal back spring in there, you're not going to have blade wrap. And actually, it even has a stop pin. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but there is a stop pin right there so that it catches that blade as it closes. But like I say, because it's all plastic in there, even if it was hitting the back spring, it wouldn't be doing too much damage. You know, so it's a nice knife, and especially considering the price. So that brings me to the one of the main reasons that I was excited for it and got it, and that's that this knife before shipping is only about $7.75 or something like that, $7.60 some cents. So it's an inexpensive knife at under $8 before shipping. And I think it's a great deal at that. You really don't find a lot of slip joints, especially larger slip joints, at that price range, especially from a brand like Cold Steel. You can find some Rough Riders, but even Rough Riders, you don't see too many, you know, under $7.99 or something like that. So it's a very inexpensive knife, and I do plan to get more of these. I got this one to be a gift, and I plan to get more just to have them to give as gifts, because I think it's a knife that someone who, you know, isn't maybe a knife connoisseur or knife, you know, enthusiast would enjoy, would kind of be impressed with because of the size, and would really see it as a nice knife. I think that for, you know, a typical person who's not fired up about things like the fact that the tip is maybe not perfectly ground, would really, you know, see this as a nice knife and a very good using knife. So I do plan to get more as gifts, especially considering I'm trying to be positive about it, but who knows what's going to happen with Cold Steel now that they've been sold. And I do have a video coming out maybe today, or the same day that I post this video, on that. You know, who knows if they'll continue making this knife. So I think that it's definitely one to consider if you're looking for an inexpensive slip joint, especially if you don't mind some modernness to it. It does have a torque screw here at the pivot rather than being pinned, but the spring is pinned. And then the handle is synthetic, but synthetic handles have been around for a long time. So if you are looking for a nice user, large slip joint, you don't mind the torque screw there. And especially if you're looking for a slip joint to give as gifts, I think that the Kudu Lite is a really great option, and it's one that I'm going to, be looking forward to giving away as a gift myself. So if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it. You can subscribe to my channel. I do have lots more videos like this and more coming. You can also hit the bell for notifications so you know when I post new videos. Check out my Instagram at Knife Thoughts and my website knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.